in Louis Trichardt. They will begin the process to identify the deceased. The bus crashed after the driver lost control in the Chambudzi Valley on the N1 near Louis Trichardt on Sunday. The bus was travelling from Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape to Malawi. Mkateko Chauke reports.
Identification process starts at Makado police station. In the process, the police show photos of those in hospital and of those who died to the family for them to know the state of their loved ones. The families who have arrived at the police have refused to talk to media. 17 of 43 bodies were identified yesterday. Pathologists are expected to conclude their post-mortem examination today. Meanwhile, Limpopo Department of Health says 17 survivors are still being treated in hospital.
The case against crime intelligence head Dumisani Khumalo and his co-accused has been postponed to the 6th of next month. The postponement is to allow the state to file an application for the review of the decision by Chief Magistrate Vusumuzi Mahlangu to recuse himself. Mahlangu announced his decision yesterday. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi raised concern over Mahlangu's handling of the matter at the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry. Henry Mamutame is the spokesperson for the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption.
To our surprise, the presiding officer indicated to us that he's recusing himself from this matter, to which in our submission we made it clear on record that we did not view him as a biased presiding officer, but he cited his reasons, and part of that was the allegations that were made against the judiciary in the Matlanga Commission. So this morning the team made a decision that we want to put his decision on review. Hence we are filing a notice with the High Court to review his decision to recuse himself from this.
The World Meteorological Organization has warned that carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere reached a new high in 2024. The panel recommended assuming a minimum rise of 2 Celsius by mid-century. The BBC's Justin Rowlett has more details.
The concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is the key driver of long-term global temperatures. The World Meteorological Organization's latest report warns that the rate of increase of the planet-warming gas has tripled since the 1960s. It said continued emissions of CO2 from human activities and an upsurge from wildfires in 2024 were responsible, as well as a reduction in the amount of the gas absorbed by the world's oceans, soils and forests.
Recapping the top story, Education Quality Assurance Body, Umalusi says security measures have been tightened ahead of the 2025 matric exams, which are scheduled to start next week, Tuesday. I'm on the Lambert of SFM News Headlines at 1:30.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
The Seagulls are counting on the power of victory to find comfort in the top half.
Reaper across! 2-1 Albion! Unbelievable scenes at Stamford Bridge.
Meanwhile, the Magpies want to start collecting points to level up to a decent position.
Looking for Baltimore! And the big German gets another goal.
This is the Premier League. Experience Brighton and Hove Albion versus Newcastle United on Saturday, 18 October at 3:30 p.m. Live on SABC3 and SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Majapeng is building South Africa's next energy-led industrial future. Join us for the Majapeng Investment Summit, 16th to the 17th of October in Velkom, where opportunity meets innovation. From gas and green energy to logistics, agro-processing and advanced manufacturing. Discover how you can invest in a special economic zone backed by major energy projects, solar power and world-class infrastructure. Fast-track your investment, power your growth, and be a part of the future. Register now at majapeng.co.za. Powered by energy, driven by vision.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga. Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Baby, let's cruise away from here. Don't be confused. Let's glide. And go inside. And if you want it, you got it forever. Oh, I can just stay there beside you and love you, baby. Oh, let the music take your mind high. Just release it, you will find, baby. We're gonna fly away. We're gonna let you go my way. I love it when we're cruising together. Music was made for love. Music was made for love. Made for love. I love it when we're cruising together. We're gonna fly away. Let you go my way. Oh yeah, baby. I love it when we're cruising together. Music was made for love. Music cruising is made for love. Hey, I love it when we're cruising together. We're gonna fly away. Let you go my way. I love it when we're cruising together. Music was made for love, baby. Cruising is made for love. I love it when we're cruising together. We're gonna fly away. Let you go my
It is D'Angelo coming through with Cruising. Probably made this song one of his most recognized seminal records of all time. But here's the catch-20 on this one, is that this song was actually originally co-written, produced and performed by singer-songwriter Smokey Robinson for Motown Records. And it was released back in 1979. And of course, D'Angelo coming through and doing his whole spin on this one. A beautiful, beautiful track. And he released it in the late or mid-90s, if I'm not mistaken, was when this rendition came out. The unfortunate thing is that he passed on, that news breaking internationally of D'Angelo's passing. He was a visionary R&B singer, and he helped pioneer the neo-soul subgenre. And he passed on, unfortunately, following a battle with cancer. And this was according to a statement from his family that was released. He was 51 years old, and he shared a child with the late singer Angie Stone as well, who also just recently passed away just a couple of months ago. So very sad day for the music industry, and we just thought we'd open the show with a little D'Angelo, because we know a lot of the millennials grew up on this music, and they'd love to hear a little something from him. There's so much going on in the news today. Kuningi. Hi, Kuningi. It's a bit difficult to keep our heads on the right way, considering everything that is currently going on in the country. But I hope you're having a great morning, and we've got lots on the agenda for us to get through today. We are going to be catching up with Putseletso Mokoena, who is an SABC news reporter, filling in this afternoon for Usbahle Mota, just to give us a little bit of a rundown on what's been going on in those parallel proceedings between the Madlanga Commission and its pause, and of course the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee, and now also that court appearance by Dumisani Khumalo in front of the Pretoria Regional Court in that matter with Advocate Tifu. We'll find out how all of that comes into play with everything that's currently going on in the country. But just to take a little bit of a focus off everything that's going on in the country. What was lovely yesterday was to take a breather, as South Africans and rally behind Bafana, who had a spectacular showcasing ahead of that FIFA World Cup qualifier in the US. They have qualified, so we send them our congratulations for that. And it was just a little bit of a relief for us to just have a moment, to just have a moment and just focus on something else, something a little bit more positive. And you could feel it on social media yesterday that people actually were just craving something a little bit positive, a little bit more pleasureful, something away from the hecticness of what's been unfolding in the political space in the recent weeks. Even having a little bit of banter with our brothers and sisters from Nigeria. A truce was called on social media for 24 hours. There was a 24-hour truce that was declared where South Africans were declaring their adoration for Nigeria's Super Eagles, who were to face Benin. It was lovely to just see all of that. And then the truce ended. It ceased when South Africa qualified. It went back to original settings. So we wake up this morning with the rivalry back on course between Nigeria and South Africa. But it was lovely. But Guningi, and that forms part of our conversations as well later on in the show. I just want to get a sense from you, Guti. How are you really coping in the current climate of the country? How are you coping under everything that's going on currently? We're dealing with a lot from the Madlanga Commission, looking into all of those allegations made by Lieutenant General Mkwanazi. We're dealing with characters like Sibiya. We're dealing with political factions. It's a lot that is happening at the moment. Suspicions of how our ambassador may and may not have passed away. There's just so much that South Africans are buckling under. And we thought we'd get a sense from you, Wuti. How are you feeling? How are you really, really feeling right now? And we'd love to hear from you on 061-410-4107. That's our WhatsApp line. And 086-000-2032 is the number that you can call us on. Let's take a quick pause.
Hi everyone, my name is Itumele Nkune, SABC Sport football analyst. When I feel down and I listen to gospel, it gives me motivation. I'm a person who loves all genres. If I was a chef, my favorite meal that I would prepare would be pap, cabbage, meaty bones, with a bit of acha on the side. My favorite language is Portuguese. Bom dia, como está? Estou bem. What I like about SABC Sport is they give you the platform and the permission to be yourself and speak any language.
Catch the ever-passionate Itumele Nkune's analysis of Ibola Leju on match days, live on Latuma. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
All right, let us catch up with Butseletso Mokoena, SABC reporter, trying to get a grip on some of the matters that are unfolding. How are you doing this afternoon, Butseletso? Butseletso?
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. All right, let's get on with it. Let's just get Firstly, let's unpack what's happening with Dumisani Khumalo, that is the general, and Advocate Tifu. I saw there was a court appearance this morning, and I just want to understand what is that all about, and does that have some kind of an impact or bearing on the Madlanga Commission?
Okay, so Bridget, today at the Pretoria Regional Court, Dumisani Masangu appeared with his co-accused. Okay, so the state in this case involving the bail amendment for this crime intelligence boss, who is Dumisani Khumalo. The state says they are planning to make an application to the High Court to set aside the decision for the former magistrate Mr. Masangu to rescue power in this matter. So what we understand is that this Mr. Masangu was the former presiding officer in this matter, that yesterday he rescued himself from the matter, and today the court was heard by the new presiding officer, and but the court couldn't proceed any further because, as I've mentioned before, that the state says they want to review they want to review the application for Masangu to rescue himself into this matter.
Yeah.
So what we know is that Khumalo and his co-accused.
Is it possible to ask you to just maybe move a little bit? The sound is just not clear at the position where you are right now. We'll take just a quick pause to maybe allow you to get to a better positioning, and then we'll come back in just like 30 seconds or so.
This October month, SFM joins the world in breast cancer awareness. We bring you conversations that highlight the importance of early detection, survivor stories that inspire hope, and expert advice that could save lives. Together, let's spread awareness and support the fight against breast cancer. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
All right, Putseletso Mokoena joins us trying to get a grip with some of the matters that are unfolding right now, and we're just trying to understand the Dumisani Khumalo appearance at the Pretoria Regional Court with Advocate Tefu on the opposing side of that matter, and how that actually comes into play with the Madlanga Commission, Putseletso, because I'm interested to know, Uti, on the one hand, here's a man who's holding the smoking gun, so to speak, for the Madlanga Commission with all of the evidence that he's meant to share. And then here he is also standing in the dock on a separate matter elsewhere.
Well, of course, Bridget, what we understand is that in this matter, Khumalo and his co-accused are facing charges of corruption and fraud. They are accused of being involved in the appointment of a 30-year-old lady that we know by the name of Dineo Mukwele. What we understand is that they appointed Dineo Mukwele as an executive position within the crime intelligence position, despite her having any previous experience in the crime intelligence space. Now, we understand that today they wanted to have their bail application relaxed so that they can return to work. This is where proceedings took an overturn, Bridget, when Advocate Malisela Tefo stood in front of the court and saying that he is, okay, what we understand, firstly, let me explain it like this. What we understand is that the state is opposing their bail relaxation. So this is where Tefo Malisela stood in front of the court to say that he is siding with the state because these people are a danger to the society. According to him, he says that they were harassing him when he was in jail. They were unlawfully, monitoring his private communications. So he says that, and apparently he says that these people, they are harassing people at work, so they cannot go to work whereby people will be harassed. Now, we understand that the former presiding officer in this matter, who is Vismuzi Mashangu, rescued himself from the matter just after Lieutenant General Nshahla Mkhwanazi raised concerns over his handling in the matter at the Madlanga Commission. So what we understand is that today, the case has been postponed to the 6th of November, and the state is planning to go and review the application of Masangu at the High Court.
I see. All right. And then just sort of a quick one. Would this have any bearing on Dumisani Khumalo's appearing at the Madlanga Commission?
Well, this is what we were asking the state today. The state also saying that this also came as a shock to them because they never indicated him as they never indicated him as somebody who is biased in this matter. So they said that this came as a shock to them. That is why they are going to review this application. They won't just agree to the application because it was a shock, and none of the lawyers, I'm talking about the state lawyers, I'm talking about the defense lawyers, none of them got an application from Mahlangu saying that he wants to rescue himself. So it just came as a shock yesterday during the court proceedings. So this is why they're saying that they want to review the application just to understand as to why is this happening.
Okay, well, I mean, you know what? At this point in time, I think anything is possible when it comes to the matters that are unfolding around South Africa right now, with that specifically affect the characters appearing at the Madlanga Commission. I get the feeling that there'll be a lot more other parallel incidences that come to the light before that commission is ever resolved. Puseletso, thank you so much for the time. That was Puseletso Mukwena, SABC news reporter. Speaking of that Madlanga Commission, we wanted to reflect back on it today and just bring you some highlights around everything that's been happening. And just looking at the time, perhaps we'll sneak them in on the other side of the headline news. But we are in conversation with you for the bulk of the show today, and we do want to get a gauge. Uguti, how are you coping with everything that's happening right now? You know, it almost seems like we're under a dark cloud as South Africa, and we've been under this dark cloud for the past couple of weeks now. It's a lot, and it keeps getting compounded. It keeps getting compounded with the Madlanga Commission, with the ad hoc committee, with now characters that are in play at both these processes, also having separate other matters that are cropping up and creeping up. And you can't help but maybe even begin to wonder, Uti, is there something else that we're not aware of? Are there allegations of sabotage and maybe even just the timing at some of these things that people keep saying, well, the timing of all these things is so suspicious. What is the bigger picture? What else is happening that we don't know about as South Africans? We have so many questions to the presidential matter as well, and his relationship with Maumela. I was listening to Ashraf's show yesterday. There is a lot. There is a lot. So we just want to know from you on 061 410 4107 and 086 000 2032 is our phone number. What's your state of mind?
This October month, SAFM focuses on cybersecurity awareness. As we live more of our lives online, staying safe in the digital world has never been more important. From spotting cyber threats to protecting your personal data, SAFM brings you the conversations that empower you to stay secure. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, Gauteng MEC for Health and Wellness, Nomandu Ngomoralihogo, says they're going to prioritize infrastructure maintenance in hospitals around the province. Ngomoralihogo speaking at a joint media briefing by Gauteng MECs in Johannesburg today. Education Quality Assurance Body Umalusi says security measures have been tightened ahead of the 2025 matric exams, which are scheduled to start next week, Tuesday. And the Israeli army has confirmed that one of 4 bodies returned to Hamas to Israel is not a hostage. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
Even we in studio, if you're watching our live stream and you can see our hands flying up in the air during the break, because we're trying to dissect so much. we're trying to dissect the president's explanation from NCOP yesterday. There's so many other questions that then follow the explanation. Kuningi that we are trying to understand as people, and it seems like we just keep coming short of the explanations. But okay, let's go back to everything that's happened so far. I hope you were watching and have been following the proceedings with General Shadrack Sibiya and his testimony in the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee. Someone tweeted last night at round about 9 or so, but if they just gave him 2 more hours, he would admit to everything, because he then admitted to the dockets being in his office. So they're like, if you'll just keep him there for 2 more hours, he would admit to everything. But Twitter has its own commentary. At times you got to watch real life issues unfolding in real time while watching them simultaneously unfolding on Twitter for the commentary that sometimes comes. It makes you chuckle and makes you forget about really the mess that we find ourselves in. So just some highlights for us. So ANC Member of Parliament Uxola Ngola, who is also the National Assembly chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Justice and Constitutional Development, asked General Sibiya about the 121 dockets. Where are the dockets? And this is what Sibiya had to say.
Dockets.
Where are they?
Now, yes.
They are.
I'm asking from the custodian now.
They are I take it that they will be with the political killing task team project manager.
Why were they taken?
They were taken, brought by them to be taken to where they needed to be taken to, which is the Specialized Unit, Murder and Robbery Unit, which is mandated to investigate political killing task team. Those that what they are investigating as a task team, in fact, belongs to Murder and Robbery Unit. They are just a separate structure that is running outside the structure.
Okay, General, you have just confirmed with us now that the political killings task team is up and running. If that's the case, why were 121 dockets taken from the political killings task team that is up and running?
Chair, a decision was taken to disband immediately. And the political killing task team project manager did say that this political killing task team have achieved the purpose for which it was intended for, to stabilize and to fight the killings of the politicians and your traditional leaders and others. Now, when you look at the map, I wish we could display the map. If it's doable, Chair, that what was presented in to be able to see how they've stabilized. I don't know, Chair, evidence leader, that is it possible to put that document that shows how they have stabilized, all of them green, and then that in fact it shows 1-1, and they said only eThekwini district is the one that is problematic, but the rest, there are no political killing task team anymore. So as a result, it can be used as a benchmark, and that it will be now done in a phase-out approach. It will be taken to murder and robbery unit. This is now General Kumar saying it will be taken to murder and robbery unit.
You know, the thing is, I also think my team is low-key very my team is also low-key very naughty, because they put up some comments on some of these clips, some comments from social media. People on social media are very mean. Let's just say that he did not elicit trust from people on social media. When MK Party Member of Parliament Thulani Shongwe asked Sibiya Guti, did you pass the competency assessment report? This caused a lot of debate yesterday on socials.
It is the letter that was written by Ubrink speaking about you not passing a competency assessment report. Did you do a competency assessment and did you pass it or you didn't pass it? Why pass and why fail?
Well, I don't. It doesn't say you failed it like it's a it's like whether you passed. What do you call it? Let me say it was not positive.
Why pass and why fail?
Okay, let me say I fail.
Okay.
Yeah, there was much discourse about this. Much. You know what I love about being South African at times, though, because we face so much, is our ability to also just laugh at ourselves. In like while we are deep in the midst of a mess, we have the ability to laugh at ourselves or laugh at you, depending. Depending. The other thing that stood out for us was when General Sibiya was asked about the letter that instructed for the political killings task team to be disbanded and why immediately.
Say immediately. When they say disband immediately, it does not necessarily mean that close the shop now, leave everything and go. It's not what it says. We can read. We can go through this document that is drafted. Remember, it makes provision for handing. It says case over protocols. A comprehensive handing over protocol for an ongoing investigation must be established and implemented in consultation with the Divisional Commissioner for Detective Service. This protocol should include complete case files and this whole document into the record. Stakeholder communication. All internal and external stakeholders must be notified in writing about the disbandment of the political killing task team, the transition plan for ongoing cases and the future protocols. So which means when you read that all these key words, they're not talking like now, they say this must happen, this must unfold, this must unfold. It's a process, but it starts today or it starts now, immediately. So that is what I was referring to.
061-410-4107 is our WhatsApp line. 086-000-2032. We'd love to hear from you. Just your take, whether on the testimony thus far of Shadrach Sibiya or anything else that you might have observed. Should we go to WhatsApp? We'll go to WhatsApp a little bit later. Okay, let's take a little bit pause and then we'll come back. We're going to get into our conversation with Roshni Munsami. Our WhatsApp is open. When we do see some of your voice notes coming through, we'll get to them in a moment.
These are the weekend shows on SAFM. Music of Africa with Sheila Ndikumana. The Weekend View with Bongiwe Zwane. The Jet Set Breakfast with Michelle Constant. Seasons with Khomotso KG Mweketsi. The Soundtrack of Your Life with Ernest Pillay. Weekend Sundowner Classics with Kutlwano Masote. Spotlight with Zai Khan. The Weekend with John Gerika. Shifting Your Lens with Bertha Charuma. This is SAFM. Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
Good afternoon, Bridget. This is Natim Bandra from Mkambati. Bridget, look, on my site, I see General Mkwanazi, General Fanima Simula, and General Kumalo. They stood up for South African in terms of the political interference in law. And when you look at this guy, the way if they question him, General Sibiya, instead of answering the question, he attack these three generals. So, which means then at the same time is defending the minister, Mr. Mkhum. So, of which you can see that there is something fish, even though I'm not an expert. He's guilty, that guy.
Yo, Shatrat Sibiyahle. People, he's saying people must be motivated instead of notified on whatever. Hi, this guy, he didn't pass the assessment. That's why he's so stupid. Very stupid. That's our leaders. Shame.
Hi, Bridget. Yeah, Shadrach Sabia. Yeah, it's very funny how he goes and reinterprets immediately for us to say, well, no, well, we meant that we were going to start the process immediately, and the process was going to take months or whatever. Then all of a sudden, when he's trying to explain why he has all the files in his office, he said, well, it had to be closed immediately. And the way he said it, and obviously it implies that he meant that that the task team was supposed to be closed immediately, and he had the files in his office, regardless of whether the task team had actually been closed down or not, which obviously it wasn't yet. So, yeah, he's totally contradicting himself. Yeah, at this point, with all the contradictions he's giving, I don't know who can believe him.
I feel so bad for this last listener because you can just hear from how he exhales. Naye, he's at this uphelelwa amandla, Nkosi yami, uphelelwa amandla. And I think that's just how we all feel as South Africans at this moment. Uphelelwa amandla. We have no words for anything that's happening and going on. 061-410-4107 is our WhatsApp line, and 086-000-2032 is the number you can call us on. We're going to get back to some of your voice notes right now, though. We're touching base with my next guest, Roshni Munsami, who's the director and curator of 11 African Women's Writers Symposium, and it's challenging narratives and inspiring hope. How are you doing this afternoon, Roshni?
I'm good. Thank you, Bridget, and to your listeners for having me on your show.
Thank you so much. In between the madness, we have moments of catching our breath with the likes of you. So it is the 11th African Women Writers Symposium, and this is funded in part by the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, and produced by Afro Arts SA. 11 edition of the symposium. Give us just a short history of its inception.
Yes, the African Women Writers started in 2010, and we had fantastic writers. We also then in 2011 celebrated the 80th birthday of Nadine Gordimer. We had people like Nawal El-Sadawi, the late Egyptian feminist writer. It was an amazing, and we've continued to have the Nadine Gordimer in memoriam lecture and lots of panel discussions and writers over the years from Zimbabwe, like Titi Dangaremba, Jamaican writers like Lorna Goodison. And the program has just continued, and our focus is on young people to come. So young people to be there at the workshops, to be there at the panel discussions, the live streams. So that is our focus on promoting literature, promoting discussion with all the various women writers and workshops and young audiences. And this year we once again, as you know, we will be at the Soweto Theatre.
And not only are you just focused on promoting women writers, African women writers, but you also really have a focus on themes that talk to the persistent issues and the role of African women intellectuals, particularly so in this troubled world.
Definitely. And this year, for instance, our keynote address this Sunday is by Alexandra Fuller, and she's a former, she was raised and educated in Zimbabwe, then known as Rhodesia, and her movie and her bestseller, Let's Not Go to the Dogs Tonight, is currently on circuit, produced by Trevor Noah and Anela Madoda.
Yeah.
And looking at issues of where we find ourselves in Southern Africa, in the continent, the book looks at the the time and the rise of Mugabe's election. And we will be facilitating that with Nomaliso Gaza, but looking at issues of our region, Zimbabwe, the world, and we're also looking at things on issues of the media, what is fake news, who controls the media. So there'll be various panel discussions on the media, and also issues about home and borders and belonging. How do we define home, and how do we deal with everybody, and what do we call home, and all the different diversity in the world and in South Africa. So there are various specific issues that we're looking at as well as celebrating and looking at young writers who are debut writers like Umpo Boshego, Nadia Kassim, and Angolan writers Egna de Sousa. So it is a melting pot, but as well as all the educational workshops we'll be hosting around literature and poetry and the social dynamics that we face in the world.
And interesting is the fact that African female writers continue to be underrepresented, particularly in the mainstream. And yet they still persist and they still continue to really produce incredible items of writing, whether you're looking at nonfiction or if you're looking at the fiction space, the fiction space. It's just incredible, the titles that have come out and how these books have gone on to do so incredibly well.
Yes, absolutely. And also with social media and Netflix, so many of our African women writers, their books have been inspired and turned into, series on Netflix, and also South African productions on Netflix, It's been an amazing time for writers. And it's not to say there's a lot of challenges and difficulty, but people don't realize that actually most of our media we consuming starts off with writing and books,
Absolutely. So it's 2 days. It's a 2-day program happening from the... When is it happening, by the way? The weekend of the 16th?
It's happening this Sunday, the 19th.
Yes, 19th.
And it's free and open to everybody. They can just RSVP to us or get onto our page, African Women Writers Network on Facebook. And it's free and open to all. And then that's part 1. And then part 2 with a series of panel discussions and workshops as well is next month, the 16th of November. And we're hosting this African Women Writers once again in partnership with the Soweto Theatre. And there's a fantastic cultural program as well this Sunday after the talk by Alexander Fuller. We will have a cultural program with Sia Makuzeni and Louis Mhlanga and various other poets. And we'll also pay tribute to the late Chiwaniso Marera from Zimbabwe. So, the theme of Southern Africa continues, both in the written and in the musical space. So it's open to everybody and they're welcome. And if the readers want to know more, they can just go to our Facebook page, African Women Writers Network.
Awesome. I think part of my confusion with the dates was trying to correlate the 2 dates. Because I did note one was in October and one was in November. But we have to wrap it up now, so I'm not going to get into the separation of the dates, but we'll bookmark them as 19th of October this Sunday, and then part 2 happens on the 16th of November, also a Sunday out at the Soweto Theatre. Roshni Munsami, I appreciate the time, and Roshni is the director and curator of the 11th African Women Writers Symposium. You can find them on Facebook if you want to get more details. It is 10 to 2 o'clock. Let's take a quick pause.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Doing the right thing just got more rewarding from the 8th of October till the 31st of December when you pay your SABC TV license. We'll say thank you to you with a 50 Rand grocery voucher and more. It's our way of celebrating you for helping us to keep local stories and talent alive. Pay, wait for your SMS and follow the instructions to claim your reward. Make sure your contact details up to date so that we can send you your prize straight away. TV licenses, pay yours, make a difference.
Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
All right, because we're trying to grab on to some semblance of normality amidst everything that is going on, and even though we've asked to just get a sense for how you are feeling right now, 0614104107 is our WhatsApp line. How are you feeling? How are you coping? More importantly, how are you coping with everything that is happening in South Africa? Maybe actually you are holding on to the joy. Yesterday's Bafana qualification is the joy that you needed to replenish your cup that was overflowing with just all of the mess that we are dealing with today. And so you welcomed that moment to just celebrate and focus on something positive coming out of the country. Or maybe you're just feeling overwhelmed and trying to make sense of everything. I had to admit to my team this morning, in light of Dumisani Khumalo appearing at that Pretoria court, I had to literally admit to my team that I'm just trying to make sense of all these different puzzle pieces. Even for me, it gets very confusing. So whilst we're trying to hold on to a semblance of normality, we thought we would be in conversation with Kensani Rikotso, who is a plant stylist and founder of, is it Merakai? Kensani? Her Merakai. How are you?
I'm good, thanks for yourself, Bridget.
I'm great. Okay, I'm so intrigued. Hence why I paused at plant stylist, because I feel like that's a career for 2025.
It definitely is, but it's been around for quite some time. I guess now it's a lot bigger because people are converting their homes into indoor jungles or their shop spaces into indoor jungles.
Yeah.
So now it's more of a mainstream thing.
Very interesting, because I mean, and really, I'm not even poking fun. I'm just intrigued because some careers didn't exist before, or they weren't named. Maybe people did them and we didn't know about them. But when you say it, I can almost understand why there would be plant stylists, because after COVID, we all became plant people. And if you look at Pinterest, people follow plant accounts and how to stylize and do all these fabulous things in your homes and your shops.
Yes, absolutely. I think COVID, specifically for me, when I think back to it and starting out, I think that's when I literally incorporated so many greens, like plants, into my space and created my home. I transformed it into a green space. And I think I realized as I was sharing on socials and helping other people care for plants, that this is actually a thing, and some people are struggling. So I get so many messages where someone would say, hey, this peace lily is dying. I have no idea what's going on, or this, I inherited this plant from my mom, and I don't want it to die. How do I look after it?
Yeah.
But beyond the caring for that plant, it is also just the knowledge of what the plant needs, right? So obviously someone like me would come into your space because I could say to you, get a monstera, right? As someone who would say a beginner plant. But a monstera might not be the correct plant for you. Maybe you're someone who needs a succulent because the space that you're going to put it in is quite bright. Maybe it's going to be at your desk and get quite a bit of sunlight, right? So that would scorch the leaf. So that's in terms of placement. Also, just in terms, you might be someone who travels quite a bit. And you don't want to have to think about your plants, but you want your space to be green. So you would get someone like me to come in and have a look at the space and say, okay, this is how we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to place the plants. So that's how it pretty much works.
Very interesting. Now, talk to me about this concept of plant parenting. I know
Yes.
people made reference to themselves as plant parents, and some were very bad at it. But plant parenting, it's a trend, right? And it's exploding.
It is. It absolutely is. But I think for me, whether you have one plant or you're someone like me who could have like 60 plants in their home, right? It's just the ability to want to care for that plant, and also just it's bringing in some green into your space. And obviously, you know, like about the mental health benefits of having plants in your space, right? Beyond the physical things. So, for example, you know, it reduces stress, it boosts productivity. The plants purify air. So, for example, clients that have asthma or allergies or something like that, then I could recommend a peace lily or snake plant to improve the air quality in their space. But I think the plant parenting space has literally blown up. But it's also, what I'm finding is that we are finding spaces that make it a lot more accessible. We're finding, for example, there is an upcoming show, the House and Bonsai Succulent and Plant Show that's coming up, which is free of charge. But in that space, you know that you're going to get people who are teaching you about plants, who are selling plants. So if you want to buy a variety of plants, that kind of thing, right? So spaces like that are a lot more commonplace versus maybe, let's just say, 3 years ago, where there wouldn't be something like that is dedicated to the plant parents. But now you can find it.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't argue with you because it has been proven the psychological and mental impact that having greenery, something living in your house actually does.
It does. It really, really does. I think it was just very interesting, just from a personal perspective in terms of, I guess, my love for it because I get to see it, where I've noticed that if I'm having a bit of a down week, I can see it in my plants because I neglect them a little bit more. Then I'm like, oh, wait, I'm not okay, you know. So there's also those other kinds of benefits that, you know, you don't really think about. But I think I've realized with living with them for so long that they also reflect my mental space back to me quite a lot.
Absolutely. Now, we've run out of time, Kensani, but for anyone listening, you mentioned the Bonsai Succulent and Plant Show, which people can visit, especially maybe the novices who want to get some information. But for folks who want to follow you and engage with you, where do they find you on the socials?
So they can find me at Kensi Rikotso on TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. That's where they can find me.
Kensi Rikotso on TikTok, Instagram, wherever you are. Basically, Kensani is, and you can engage her and watch her also do her thing. Thank you for the time. Brief but sweet. That was Kensani Rikotso, who is a plant stylist and founder of Her Merakai, which is a brand dedicated to soft rituals for green living spaces. It's no joke. When we have time and we talk about green spaces and green living and gardening and such things, we know you'll love this conversation. So we thought we'd bring you a little bit of that. It is fast approaching 2 o'clock. Ondela is standing by with the top of the hour news. Good to have you back, Ondela.
This October month, SFM shines a light on mental health awareness. This month, we bring you conversations that break the stigma, encourage care, and provide strategies to protect your mental well-being. Because it's okay not to be okay. And together, we can build a healthier tomorrow. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Outsurance is in the business of saving you money on your car insurance premium. If they can't, ask for 500 Rand. SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754.
Thank you, Bridget. On the top stories, concerns over a shortage of marking staff and more University of Free State students arrested. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good day. Education quality assurance body Umalusi has raised concerns over a shortage of marking staff. Over 1 million candidates are registered to write this year's National Senior Certificate and other end-of-year assessments. The exams officially begin next week, Tuesday. However, the council expressed confidence in the readiness of public and private assessment bodies to conduct the end-of-the-year assessments. Umalusi Senior Manager for Quality Assurance, Dr. Mary Antoinette Luayo, briefed the media in Pretoria today.
Umalusi has identified a shortage of markers in certain of the DBE subjects, namely history and paper 3 for home and first additional languages, based on the reports submitted. Umalusi is satisfied that the DBE strategies in place, which include additional recruitment drives, early start of marking, and extending the duration of the marking period in the subject's consent, will ensure that these gaps are bridged by the time the marking of the scripts starts.
Meanwhile, Luayo emphasized that the challenges in relation to the shortage of exam script assessors will not affect the scheduled marking dates.
All markers appointed across the 4 assessment bodies will be trained prior to the commencement of the marking. The marking process will unfold in a staggered manner, commencing on the 15th of November and ending on 18 December 2025. Umalusi will monitor the implementation of a staggered marking approach to ensure that the process is not compromised.
Gauteng MEC for Health and Wellness, Nomandungwa Moralihogo, says they're going to prioritize infrastructure maintenance in hospitals around the province. Ngomoralihogo was speaking at a joint media briefing by Gauteng MECs in Johannesburg today. The aim of the briefing was to share updates on the implementation of the provincial government's key priorities. Ngomoralihogo says they will focus on quality refurbishments.
To focus now on the issue of infrastructure for our hospitals, because people get discouraged when you get into a hospital and the refurbishments that are there are not the one that you need. So it's just the facelifting of the hospital that I want to do. Hence, I was crying for the money for the infrastructure.
8 more students from the University of the Free State's main campus in Bloemfontein have been arrested for blockading the main road near the campus. They are protesting against the university's decision to scrap provisional registration. All academic activities have been suspended on all 3 campuses of the institution. The last remaining students at the Kwakwa campus left their residence this morning. The Free State Police spokesperson Thabo Covane says the latest arrests emanate from the Bloemfontein campus protest.
8 protesters believed to be University of the Free State students were arrested this morning for blocking DF Malherbe Avenue adjacent to Gate 5 of the university. 6 males and 2 females were arrested in a case docket of public violence with additional charges of contravention of Criminal Matters Amendment Act and Road Traffic Act was opened at Parkweg Police Station.
The Israeli army has confirmed that 1 of 4 bodies returned to Hamas to Israel is not a hostage. It's the latest blow in trying to maintain the momentum of the current Gaza ceasefire towards a permanent end of the war. The BBC's Sebastian Asher reports.
The bodies of 7 dead Israeli hostages have now been returned, meaning that at least 20 still remain in Gaza. The Israeli government has accused Hamas of failing to meet its commitments under the ceasefire deal and has essentially threatened that aid won't be permitted into Gaza at the level needed unless this is resolved. But both Hamas and the Red Cross have suggested that it may simply not be possible to track down every one of the bodies in the devastation of Gaza. This is likely also to affect the recovery of the bodies of many Palestinians believed to be buried beneath the rubble.
Recapping the top story, education quality assurance body Umalusi has raised concerns over a shortage of marking staff. Of 1 million candidates are registered to write this year's National Senior Certificate and other end-of-year assessments. I'm Wondelambana for SFM News Headlines at 2:30.
Outsurance will go out of their way to try and save you money on your car insurance. If they can't, ask for 500 Rand. SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. You could spend 10 minutes waiting for that file to download. Or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For his 2024 Ford Ranger, 57-year-old Andy now pays only 1,083 Rand a month. And for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson, 48-year-old Felicity pays just 836 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Gordon Ramsay is back, and your favorite kitchen disasters are still somehow in business. New season, same confused chefs, terrifying walk-ins, and enough grease to fry your Wi-Fi. Watch as Gordon tries to fix the unfixable with nothing but sheer rage, British sarcasm, and an iron stomach. Kitchen Nightmares Season 8, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. on S3. Come for the food, stay for the emotional damage.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga. Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Gave you the best of me. Yeah, I gave you all of me. I put your needs before my own. But still, it wasn't enough for you. Some them not desisting, yeah.
Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
No malajani, jani wami, egendukshiye, so fast jani. No malajani, jani wami, egendukshiye, so fast jani. No malajani. Siyazalana, oh, mntana muntu, nalabo mphethe ngayo isolo, isithathile isigqibo, akanjani, oh ma, kanjani, oh ma, kanjani, oh ma, kanjani wami, oh ma, kanjani, so fast kanjani, oh, oh ma,
He's such a phenomenal performer. He really brings everything to the stage with him. Doesn't matter what is he performing at a small private function or is performing at a big stage in a big stadium. He literally just brings everything. Also, very pleasant person. One of the most pleasant guests we've ever had on the show. Consistent. It's just Vusinova. Vusinova coming through with Noma Ganjani. And apologies, we had to drop out of that first track that we were attempting to play because we realized that the sound quality was not up to par. So we had to drop out of that one and get into this one. But hopefully you enjoyed it. It is 2:15. We asked you a question at the beginning of the show, and it has to do with the fact that we are currently deep in the thick of things. There's so many, there's so many sort of colloquialisms that we could use to describe this moment that we are in as South Africans. It's unfortunate that none of them are PC. None of them are PC. They're quite descriptive, all of them. So we don't want to get into the BCCSA. But we'd love to get a sense Uti, how you are feeling. 061-410-4107 is our WhatsApp line. And you can also give us a call on 086-000-2032 if you'd like to do so. We prefer your voice notes and your calls, but you can text us as well. But we like to hear your voice because I think when we hear your voice, then we really get a sense of everything that you're trying to articulate in your personality.
Hello, Bridget. It's very difficult to cope in South Africa, honestly, because I feel like the dirty people are more than the clean one. So I don't know. I don't even trust if you are going to win this fight against the exposing the dirty people. Because if we just take the for example the matter of Shadrach Sibia, that guy is arrogant. He doesn't care. He got this expression that he's disrespectful, honestly. So it's quite difficult to cope in that situation because I feel like he doesn't care. He needs sympathy from the people, or else it's quite difficult, man. But thank you, Kolo and Rustenberg.
Good afternoon, Bridget and team. Just a few days ago, there was a story I came across, I think it was from the Northwest, of a son who attacked and hacked and killed his mother with a spade. And a community member eventually had to intervene and shot and killed the son. But many of the others who gathered filmed this horrific scene and then went on to share that on social media. We are in serious trouble as a country. And when you sit down and look at the extent of the rot and corruption that grips this nation, you feel almost paralyzed. And that's not even touching on the individual, personal challenges that we grapple with on a day-to-day basis. When you go into a retail grocery store and you buy just a single plastic of basic foods, and it's nearly 350 Rand.
Yeah, I know. It's a gruesome picture. And that's the thing, because I feel like we almost we disassociated as a society from so much. We disconnect, and I don't know if it's a coping thing or it's a desensitizing thing also, because what you speak about there, this gruesome act that's happening, and our first inclination as people is to whip up a cell phone and film it and then put it on social media for likes and commentary, so that it can then fuel and validate the sense of we are being seen, or we are not alone, or our own egos are being fueled by, sometimes even content that shouldn't even be on social media. And then let's not even talk about you and you're right, you can't even find a little bit of relief by going into the grocery store to buy yourself something nice at the end of a hard week at work, a hard week watching the news cycle, a hard week listening to your fellow SAFMers just unpacking the issues of the day, and you just need a moment to just go, whew. But you can't even have that moment, because then you get into your local grocery store and suddenly your favorite bev is 3 times more than what it was 2 years ago. Suddenly the ice cream that you were treating your kids with every Friday afternoon. Have you seen the price of Mickey D's these days? I went into McD's the other week. I thought to myself, there are parents who drive through these drive-thrus every Friday because it's the little treat that you give your kids. But it's so expensive now. It's insane. And so that's why today we thought we'd ask you the question. It's a simple question, but even amongst ourselves, it was such an important question to ask, because when we really ask you, how are you really, really coping in this current climate? How are you really feeling in this current situation that we are facing as South Africans? And if we go beyond the smiling and the generic, I'm okay and I'm fine, and we get deep into the crux of the matter, most of us are really not okay. It's just that the one good thing that God instilled and installed in all South Africans, whoever you may believe in, whatever you may call your higher power, the one good thing that they instilled in us South Africans is that we have a sense of humor, and that's how we cope. We literally laugh at ourselves, and we find the smallest spark of positivity, and we just hold on to that. And that gets us through the next day and the next week and the next month. And can we just thank our sportsmen for that? Our sportsmen and women, because they literally have been pulling the weight of creating those moments of joy that we can hold on to as South Africans that get us through the darkness. Can we just say, let's just take a pause and say thank you to Bafana for yesterday. Thank you, boys. Thank you so much. Our lines are still open on 0614104107, wanting to gauge the sense of how you are coping, how you are feeling, but also still reflecting on Shadrach Sibia. So you can also send us voice notes on that. It's 2:20.
Call us on 086 000 2032.
Sis Bridget ngiyathemba unephila umlungisi lo. No, ufuna nje just to quickly talk about General Sibia. No, kuyavela kakhulu ukuthi the problem with this country is putting incompetent people in power. You know, this political delegation has ruined our beautiful country, and I hope the administration that is going to take over from the ANC comes 2029 won't do exactly as what was happening, deploying people who are incompetent and incapable, people who can not even understand words they utter, people who doesn't even understand how to explain sincerely, but they are in power.
Hello, my sister. Yes, is anonymous in Cape Town. Yeah, it's not easy to answer. It's not easy to be questioned. Actually, when you know you are not sure what you are answering, that's why you keep defending the reality. You keep confusing the reality and the truth. That is the problem for our General Sibia. He doesn't know if he's telling us the truth or he's telling us the reality. So let's just take the English the way it is. Here is the matter of English. So for us who doesn't know English, we will just take it the way it is. But justice will know which side they will put him. I thank you.
Afternoon, says Bridget, is chasing Pumalanga. General Sibia, it seems like he was not prepared enough for the questions. Like I don't know who he thought will ask questions because it seems like, hey, he's so surprised. I haven't heard him answering just a simple question, yes or no. He goes through the bushes and then comes around, comes back, and then like this guy like showing us there is plenty of things that he knows, and then he's not so trustable, man. South Africa, come on.
Hi, Bridget. They said Mkhwanazi was talking his own things. Look, when he told us about the judge, the judiciary was also corrupt. Look at the judge now. After Mkhwanazi explained that now the charges that we put there were really false claims, false charges. Now the judge, after that, they realized now he's recusing himself. Why is he recusing himself if he was doing the right thing? Mkhwanazi is doing the thing. I don't want to talk about Sbiya. We don't know. Sbiya don't know anything. He's correcting himself and also implicating himself. This one.
Hi, good afternoon. It's Tabo here from Rustenburg. You know, I was so surprised with Mr. Sevilla's response when he says anything that comes from the National Commissioner's Office is a direct instruction. He doesn't even question it. Whether it comes from the junior staff or whoever, he just go and implement right away. This guy is taking us for a ride.
Hi, Bridget and SAFM listeners. Bafana Sbiya here from Nkwenkwe, Mtunjanen, KZN. Oh, I was so disappointed by my brother. Hey, that Sbiya guy, I don't know whether is he ignorant or is he couldn't answer questions. He will refer to who hate him and we can fight who. I wonder, where is he born? I don't believe he's a real Sibia, that guy. Hi, bye-bye.
Masulahlwa nginabantu who share surname now. Hayi kunzima impela. Kunzima for General Shadrack Sibia. But that's the sentiment. That is the sentiment out there. And you know, also the weird thing is, we also like to, and I'm just making an observation, but that's also just maybe human nature. We like to ruminate over things. If you are going through a tough time at the moment, we post two things: your comments on General Sibia, and how are you feeling at the moment? How are you coping at the moment? And how quickly we decided to change direction and come back to Sibia. But that's part of the things that we're going through as a country right now. It's part of the things that have us anxious and walking on tenterhooks. But we'd rather talk about that than talk about uthi sinjani, sikopha kanjani, sizizwa sinjani. But that's also just human nature. You want to talk some more about Sibia? Let's go to WhatsApp.
Hey, good afternoon, Bridget. General Sibia is a diagnosis of a real problem we're facing in leadership here in South Africa. You can tell that we are employing people who are so incompetent that people don't even understand immediately. Can you believe that a person who's a deputy commissioner doesn't even understand that word? It's a recipe for disaster. How much more? Because even a lame person like me can understand it. How is it possible that he doesn't understand that word? It's a mess. Thank you, Bridget.
Hi, good afternoon. Sabia. You know, I'm part of the police, but there's no such thing called murder and robbery. Murder and robbery was more on the apartheid days when we had it. He doesn't even know the right terms. The right term we use either DPC, either walks, or you got organized crime. Now everything was murder and robbery, murder and robbery. Sabia contended one, big time. You can see he's a crook, this one there. And I heard yesterday he said he's more senior than General Mkonazi. Aye, Mkonazi is more senior than him. I wish Mkonazi can come back and tell him that he's more senior than him in rank.
Ha, yeah, let's go to a call. Let's go to Thokozani in Durban. Thokozani njani?
Ngikhona Bridget, how are you?
Hey, listen. Hi.
Bridget, I think I'm having a deja vu.
Why?
I still recall a certain president who happened to come from our province who will do the severe things when he was asked in the parliament, even in the commission. Really, I couldn't know whether is this the defense mechanism that was taught back there in the day, or I really don't know. Really,
it's almost like you're watching like a comedy, ne?
Indeed. We need to cancel all these soapies and put these guys during the prime time and enjoy ourselves with popcorns and nuts.
No, it's a lot, Thokozani. But you sound upbeat. I think you sound like how South Africans sound. We take everything with a pinch of salt.
What else can we do? Really, what else can we do? Otherwise we'll go insane. We just need to look at these people and say, oh my God, these guys, it's such a pity. They are representing us.
Yeah.
And some people generalize and say, look at them.
I know what you're saying without saying it, Thokozani. I know what you're saying without saying it. Thank you so much, Putwami. How's my hometown?
Oh, it's cool. It's cool. I was in Gardens the other day, and I recall that I once passed you by Gardens in Mbilo. Let's not talk about the other thing. Okay, thanks.
Thokozani, thank you for the call.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Puti. That was Thokozani in Durban. We'll be in Durban actually next week. We're going to be broadcasting from Durban, but we'll tell you about that closer to the time. We're still taking your voice notes. We'd love to know how you're feeling. You heard Thokozani. What can we do? We can only but laugh at the situation. 2:30, Andela standing by with the headline news, and then we get into Kids Corner.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, Education Quality Assurance Body Umalusi has raised concerns over a shortage of marking staff. Over 1 million candidates are registered to write this year's National Senior Certificate and other end-of-year assessments. Gauteng MEC for Health and Wellness, Nomantu Ngomora-Lihogo, says they're going to prioritize infrastructure maintenance in hospitals around the province. Ngomora-Lihogo speaking at a joint media briefing by Gauteng MECs in Johannesburg today. And President Cyril Ramaphosa has sent his message of condolences to the government and the people of Kenya following the passing of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
SABC Education, in partnership with the Department of Health and Ilifa Labantwana, bring you episode 46 of the Side-by-Side Drama Season 4, focused on identifying cognitive delays.
Say and say, side by side.
Singama Africa, Kenya, you, Tina. Singama Africa, Kenya, you, Tina. Singama Africa, Kenya, you, Tina.
All right, we need to pick up some new clothes for Amanda. A few groceries, milk, bread, vegetables.
And biscuits for Anele, right? You always forget those, yes, Babalo. Isn't he coming home this weekend?
Of course, Babalo. How could I forget? Thanks for reminding me. Oh no! What happened?
Haibo, it's Amanda.
Did you fall, sweetie? Let me see.
Is she okay, Kalok?
I think we should take her to the clinic. She might need to see a doctor.
Hey, maybe we should ask Umam Sini to take a look first. Pella, she's experienced with these things. I mean, she fell and she's crying, but I don't think she needs to see a nurse or a doctor. And besides, there'll be other people with emergencies at the clinic, Kalokanya. We don't want to take their place.
You're right, Babalwa. I'm overreacting again. Let me actually call Mom Cindy.
So you said you'd like to know more about warning signs of cognitive delays in babies and young children.
Yeah.
I just want to understand, why are you interested in it now, since Mandla is still basically a newborn baby?
Hey, nurse, our neighbor's daughter had some challenges, and we just want to make sure we are informed.
Oh, okay. So it's important to remember that all babies develop at different rates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Premature babies, for example, may take longer to reach cognitive milestones.
Ms. Pilisa, what could be some causes of cognitive challenges?
Cognitive challenges can arise from various factors, Imange. These may include genetic defects, significant medical issues before birth, or exposure to harmful substances in the baby's environment. So some possible causes could be if your baby doesn't watch things as they move, or if they don't bring objects to their mouth. These could be signs to pay attention to.
And what about when they start to interact more?
Yes. So around 4 to 5 months, if a baby doesn't smile or laugh when looking at you, it could be a sign of concern.
What about when they start moving around more?
Well, for mobile infants, if they don't try to reach for objects that are within their grasp, if they struggle to bring things to their mouth, this could be signs of potential delays.
And what about social interaction?
Yeah. If a baby doesn't seem to recognize familiar faces, or if they don't engage in simple back and forth games like your peekaboo, it could indicate a delay in social development.
Thank you, Nurse Piliso. We'll be sure to keep an eye on Mandla and bring up any concerns during our clinic visits.
Thank you. That's the best approach. And don't forget to always bring along Mandla's Road to Health booklet.
Yeah.
It helps us track his development more accurately.
Okay, Nurse. Thank you so much for the information.
Don't worry, Kanya. The swelling will subside. Amanda will be just fine.
But could this setback affect her development, Mam Cindy? I'm worried she might fall behind.
How will we know if Amanda has a development delay?
Oh, Babalwa, she'll have a little pain on her head, but Amanda is totally fine.
Oh, that's a relief to know. I just don't want her to have any delay in learning.
I know, Kanya. You know, ladies, the first 3 years of life are important for language development. During this time, the brain, is absorbing sounds and language from their environment. Babies pick up on communication cues and they begin to recognize important sounds like their mother's voice.
You know, what I've learned from Spogazi's development is that children progress through language milestones at their own pace.
Absolutely, Babala. That's right. However, if you notice significant delays, it's important to seek guidance quickly. Speech and language problems are common developmental delays, and they can be caused by various factors, including hearing loss or speech disorders.
So, Mam Cindy, what should we look out for? How will we know Amanda needs extra help?
You know, Kanya, speech delays in toddlers are very common. But if you notice that Amanda's struggling to meet language milestones, or if she has difficulty understanding gestures, it may be, just maybe, worth consulting. Coming to the clinic, health professionals can provide guidance and support to ensure Amanda reaches her full potential.
Thank you, Mam Cindy, for this information.
It's a pleasure, Kanya. Now, someone mentioned that you are going to the shops.
Yes, we are, Mam Cindy.
Good, ladies. I was actually on my way there. Maybe we should all go together.
Okay,
go then.
Yeah.
Singama Afrika Kenya you Tina Singama Afrika Kenya you Tina Singama Afrika Kenya you Tina Singama Afrika Kenya
Join us again tomorrow as we sit down with an expert at 2:30 to further discuss identifying cognitive delays right here on SAFM.
Side by side.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Channel your inner feel good on Expresso this October, from big global moments like the G20 summit to how it all plays out right here at home.
We are keeping it real this Mental Health Awareness Month with conversations that lift and inspire. And of course, all the good stuff that you love, delicious food, fashion trends, and everything in between.
Wake up with the Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on S3.
Are you forgetting things? A name, where you parked the car, that extra thing you were supposed to get at the shop. Memory loss is natural, but so is the solution. Memorex is a unique combination of the herbs used by Eastern cultures for over 4,000 years. Take Memorex as a daily supplement. It'll condition your memory to work better. Available at leading pharmacies and health shops. Visit memorx.co.za.
This October month, SAFM shines a light on mental health awareness. This month, we bring you conversations that break the stigma, encourage care, and provide strategies to protect your mental well-being. Because it's okay not to be okay. And together, we can build a healthier tomorrow. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
It is time for us to get into our next conversation with my last guest. We are looking at the 2025 Township Customer Experience Report that was released, and Umongezi Mtati is the author of the report. And the report shows how nearly 20,000 formally registered spaza shops have rebuilt trust and become vital community hubs. Let's find out what other insights and data came out of this particular report. How are you doing this afternoon, Mongezi?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me, Bridget. How are you?
I'm great. I'm awesome. Thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. All right, so perhaps let's start at the base and just get a bit of an understanding around the motivation to undertake this report. And was it the first of its kind that you've sort of explored, or is it something you've done before?
Thanks for that. I think it's so this is the 5th edition of this annual report, and when we started it around 2021, there weren't that many reports that were public facing, free to download for anyone who is in marketing, trying to understand the township market. We've always been talking about this 900 billion rand market, but there wasn't really a report that says that was free to download and says these are the trends, this is what's happening in this market. And over the past 5 years that we've been doing this report, we as marketers ourselves, and I as somebody who grew up in the township, who sees the township grow and develop and evolve over time, really wanted to find a way of crystallizing this information. And as a team at Roger Wilco, we then collaborated with other partners to make it possible.
And part and parcel of the conversations, or I'd like to know part and parcel rather of the questions that were posed in the report and what those spoke to. You say, for instance, that at the time in 2021 when you initiated this report, one of the questions was the lack of understanding in what's happening in the market.
Exactly. So year on year, we ask different questions. We have a few tracker questions, but we ask different questions based on what's happening. So if you think about, for instance, in 2021, we had just come out of the pandemic. There was a lot of uncertainty in the world. We were asking people where they were shopping and where they were buying products. Fast forward to 2025, you've just mentioned the spaza shop registration, for instance. So we want to get a sense of what has changed now that spaza shops are registered. There was a lot of news around counterfeit products making their way into spazas, but what has changed now that spaza shops are registered? And 41% rather of the residents we spoke to tell us that they trust spaza shops more following the registration. Of course, this is a sort of a mixed bag, because on the one hand, we asked residents, and on the other, we asked business owners in the township, or a business owner in the township who is a commentator in the report, what he has seen as a change since the registration. He says there's very little change, but the customer says we trust spazas more because there's something that says you could trust this spaza shop. This is endorsed and registered and has put their name forward, rather than one that hasn't.
Very interesting, because I was also going to ask around the sentiments, particularly so last year. Which was, I think, the height really of all those issues we saw in our communities around the counterfeit goods, the poisoned goods, and that trust deficit happening between community and spaza shop owners. And what was the feel and the emotion on the ground, what came out from the report last year, and how that is sort of tracked with this year's feel?
So last year, we didn't ask that question because while news of counterfeit products started emerging, I think in 2022, in 2023, there weren't as many cases, but the cases suddenly shot up in 2024. So there was really no way to kind of predict that that would happen, but we had already started seeing brand safety issues coming up within the spaza shop environment or within the spaza shop market. So this year we asked that, the question I mentioned about the change, but we also asked, alongside this change in trust, what has changed in how you engage with spaza shops? And 49% of respondents say they prefer familiar spaza shop owners. So somebody they grew up around, somebody they know, somebody they kind of understand or have a background to. So 49% are saying that's the preference of the spaza shop owner, because again, there's a way of saying if Sipho owns this spaza shop, Sipho grew up in this neighborhood, I'm more likely to trust Sipho than to trust someone I've never known or don't know the background of. So that's kind of what we're seeing. And interestingly, there's also, I think, a rise of social media usage in townships, which is something that we've been seeing rise over time. We've always known that word of mouth is one of those instances, one of those spaces where products, specials, news spread from person to person. But we are seeing that that word of mouth piece is being replaced largely by social media and social media usage among 70% of our respondents. And this is not to say people aren't spreading things via social media. I think it accelerates a lot more on social media in ways that we've never seen it before in the past.
Absolutely. Mongezi, let's just take a quick break here. It's 10 to 3 o'clock, last couple of minutes on the show, and then we'll come back on the other side and continue our conversation as we get a better understanding of the 2025 Township Customer Experience Report.
Catch the Tastemaster Junior this Tuesday evening at 7:30 on SABC2 as Judge Fritz Squirn shows the contestants how to make boerewors from scratch. Then it's their turn to create their own version and present a winning feast. Who'll serve up a meaty masterpiece and who'll get caught up in the grind? That's the Tastemaster Junior, Tuesday evenings at 7:30. Repeat Wednesdays at 1 and Sundays at 4 p.m. Only on SABC2.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
Alrighty, as we wind down the show, we're in conversation with Mongezi Tati, who is the author of the 2025 Township Customer Experience Report. And this report was developed by Roger Wilco in partnership with Field and Insights Africa, as well as Moya app. And they surveyed and engaged over 1,600 township residents from all 9 provinces who responded to numerous questions on grocery shopping, brand perceptions, savings, digital adoptions, and spending priorities. And a lot of the survey also, I mentioned Moya app here, Mongezi, because a lot of the survey also drew on some additional information from Moya.
Absolutely, Bridget. I think that, in the first part of our conversation, we were talking about spend. And I think there's also a big part around savings. There's this there's this notion that South Africans don't save as much, and the less income you have, the less likely you're prone to save. So we wanted to find out how true that is. What we are finding, though, is that 71% of our respondents tell us that they belong to Stokvels, which is a 39% increase from 2 years ago. So this is one of those tracker questions that we kind of bring in. Interestingly, though, people are saving for basics. They're saving for groceries, mostly year-end groceries. They're saving for funerals, and